Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. We're here with Alyssa Warren and Joseph Warren. Alyssa works for Holden Roofing Company, and we're going to talk about the sinners and the saints. Okay, Alyssa, I like to talk about the sinners and the saints because I grew up in a traditional church. That's why I have the organ music playing. Yeah. And the pastor would always talk about law and gospel. You know, the Old Testament, 10 Commandments, and then the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I started doing this radio show, and I thought, I want to do the sinners and the saints, talk about somebody that's done something bad that's published in the news, talk about somebody that's done something good. So related to roofing, I found an article at the Attorney General's website about this roofing company that the state of Texas sued to try and stop them from taking advantage of people and to try and get some of the money back that they owed people. It's Rubinsky Roofing and Gilad Rubinsky for violating the Texas Deceptive Practices Act. So do you have any experience with people who had been taken advantage of by a different roofer?
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, it comes up quite a bit, and usually it's on the tail end that they've already done the roof, and, you know, the company disappears, and that now they have warranty issues, and nobody's there to fix it, and we come through, and I've even had instances where the job was so bad, we ended up having to tear off an entire roof that they've already paid for and redo it the correct way. So
wow.
It's unfortunate, but it's
so are these people hard to work with because they've already been taken advantage of by another company? Or are they somewhat skeptical about?
Yeah, usually those ones come to us because then that's when they start doing their research, and then they find, okay, what's the company I should use? And then those are the ones that call in to us, or they get referred to us. So usually by the time we get involved, they've already done their research, someone's already done it for them, and now we're involved.
Well, the center today, Rubinsky Roofing, that was published in an article on the internet on the Attorney General's website, said that they used aggressive pressuring tactics with door-to-door sales and persistent calls to sort of force these people to hire them for the service. And so that falls under the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act for making claims that aren't true and then not doing the work. You know, that's a breach of contract claim. Mm-hmm. So what you're talking about, though, is just somebody that did a bad job.
Yeah, well, and there's also other instances, you know, even after this last big storm last year that hit the Westover Hills area, there was a company that went in, and you get a lot after a storm. It's like everyone with a ladder becomes a roofer. You'll have ABC Landscaping one day, and then the next day they're ABC Roofing. So same thing with painters, solar people, and they don't know roofing. And what happens, and you'll see on Facebook group chats for contractors, they start, I have a contract, I'm looking for roofing crews. And like last minute they're trying to find someone because they don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times you get these day laborers. You maybe have one person know roofing on the roof, doing the roof, and then everyone else is just trying to keep up and figure out what they're doing, and that's when you get a horrible job. But it's not just the roof being horrible, it's the install is so bad where now it's causing problems. Mm-hmm. It's causing leaks. It was misinstalled. But like companies like that, we had a company go through, and usually what happens is they'll run through a neighborhood as fast as they can so they get issues, and then they disappear. So they'll come in, and you'll have sometimes they're like, hey, you know, we're going to give you such a good deal, and they're pressuring people like, you know, your insurance gave you this much money, but I'm going to do it under, and I'm going to cover your deductible, and I'm going to do this and that. And people are like, well, I'm going to save money. I'm going to make money. Mm-hmm. So they're like, well, I'm going to just go with this company. But the only thing is I have to sign now. So they don't have
Right.
time to research or do
Right.
anything. It's, hey, I'm giving you this really good deal, but it's only if you sign now. So there's that pressure. And sometimes you'll see, and I need to get enough to cover the materials. So I'm going to take out of your insurance claim or whatever, I'm going to take $5,000 or $10,000 now, and then we're going to put you on the schedule. And then a month goes out, you haven't done my roof, where are you at? And then 2 months go out, you haven't done my roof, where are you at? 3 months, and it keeps getting pushed off. And the reason why these aren't roofers, then they realize, oh, I'm not with a supplier, I can't get these shingles, and then I have to go to Home Depot, but now there's a shortage, and then they're running into all these issues, and then they end up just folding, taking off, disappearing with the people's money.
That's awful.
No.
Okay, so you're with Holden Roofing, and they have offices in San Antonio and Houston. And on your website, there's a frequently asked question page that I saw, and it said, how do I pick a good roofing company? What are some of the things people should look for or ask?
Yeah, definitely. So, especially when people are interviewing roofers, and I sit down and, I'm maybe the 5th, 10th roofer they've interviewed. My main thing at this point, I'm like, okay, what are you looking for in a roofer? That's the main thing. I want to make sure, am I even the good fit for you? So one thing is, is it price? Is it quality? Is it, what is that? But ultimately I'll say, look, after we go through everything, this is what we offer. And while you're interviewing or going through your list, here's some things you can go through and see if they're a good fit as well. And I'll always leave them with, make sure the company's been in business a minimum of 5 years. I like to see 10 years, because then that's a track record. Look at their Google reviews. Google reviews are typically, they're genuine reviews. People are going on. What are they saying? Look at your neighborhood group chats. Are people talking about how they worked with them? And then one of the big things are, what kind of product are they putting on your roof? Are they going to put a generic roof where they're just putting more money in their pocket and giving you the shorthand? Are they going to put a good quality with a good warranty? So one thing I always say is, there's a bunch of different roofing material out there. A lot of it's generic brand, and it's horrible, and it's going to wear way faster. And like I said, you're making the roofer money, not yourself. I would always say, especially an insurance claim, go with an Owens Corning. That's your top roofing material out there. There's a GAF would be like the second top. Anything outside of that is really crap. Like I would not put it on the roof. I'll tell people, look, I'm getting such good quality, like prices on my good material as what you're going to get on generic. I wouldn't even go generic. So let's go with a good one. But Owens Corning has a platinum preferred contractors list. So I always say start there, because if that contractor disappears, then what's going to happen is they're going to get another platinum preferred contractor come in and take care of you. So that's a warranty. And there's a good handful now here in San Antonio that they pay for that. We're the largest residential roofing company. We do high volumes for Owens Corning. So we're the only ones that get it free. So they're giving that to us because of the volume and the workmanship that we have. So Owens Corning backs us. So everyone else will pay for that, but it gets you that warranty. So 10 years, local business, been in business 10 years, Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, a good way to look to see to make sure they're not lying to you. I'm not a fan of BBB. But, because there was a whole Dateline show, like go back and look at it. Like everybody thinks it's a government entity. It's not, it's a for-profit. You could pay for an A rating. So don't look, who cares what the ratings say, but look at BBB put the name of the company, the address. That will tell you when they were established. I can't tell you how many roofing companies will claim, even have billboards saying, we've been in business, 20 years, and you look, it's been 3 years. Mm-hmm. Where's the 20-year gap? Right. So look, that's a win way. If they're lying to you on the front end, just move on. So those are good things to go down the list. I think if you follow those guidelines, regardless if you go with Holden Roofing, you should be in good hands enough to be able to move forward and have a good warranty.
Joseph, you do financial planning with Financial Planning HQ.
Yeah.
How do you help your clients deal with these unexpected expenses like a damaged roof after a storm?
Yeah, we have a methodology for determining the exact amount of cash reserves you should have based on 6 to 12 months of non-discretionary expenses, so non-luxury expense items, but also looking at your deductibles. So we'll actually add those deductibles in, like your win and hail deductible. And we'll tell you this is the exact amount to keep in cash reserves. This is where to put it. And it helps you because they offer financing, I know that, but it saves you from having to finance it. and making sure that if it does happen, you just have the money there. You don't have to worry about it.
Right, and that saves them money because you probably have to pay interest on financing.
Yep, usually I think it's like 5 to 7%, something like that. Probably more, actually.
Yeah.
Alyssa, you mentioned that sometimes the roofing contractor will do something with the deductible, will offer some kind of break. Is that legal?
Definitely not.
No.
And I wish in the whole roofing like regulatory environment, it's not the best. So that's why I tell people you really got to do your research, because there's not a lot of, legal help out there for you.
Mm-hmm.
No one's really regulating these roofers out here. So like in San Antonio, you don't even need to be licensed. I know some areas of San Antonio you have to be registered, but a lot of the times nobody's regulating that or looking. So insurance companies, they'll say, hey, you can't have your deductible paid. And then some may, and it's like a draw. So who knows? You might get a desk adjuster where they're like, I'm going to look into this because I just, I want to today. And then that's when they'll start fishing and be like, wait, how did you pay your deductible? I need proof of a check or a credit card transaction. And then if they're caught where the roofing company came in, and you'll hear them say, we'll cover your deductible, or we'll dissolve it, or we'll put it somewhere else. What they're doing is they're going to end up most likely sending in falsify information saying you did pay it, and now you just committed insurance fraud with your roofer.
Oh, no.
And it's you could be fined up to $2,000 and then blacklisted on your insurance company.
That's awful. We got to take a break, but stay tuned. This is important stuff. We'll be right back.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.